I'm Mary Beth at the Law of Attraction Club, and we're on the web at theloaclub.com. On these hangouts, we collaborate with our friends Tara. This hangout is usually the summary of our theme for the week, and today continues on our open conference line. Today's topic is Make a New Year Resolution to Make a New You. And we'll help you. And I have a feeling this is going to be different from what you expect. So you can get invites to our open calls, which we offer periodically, and our powerful free letting go process by going to theloaclub.com. So now we're going to get started right away and welcome Robin and Rachel, who will be coming through Tara today as well, and even perhaps myself. So over to everybody, and we welcome Tara. Tara?
Welcome back to our discussions. As we move into 2017, and as we move in January into our next 4-week challenge, we want to lay some groundwork on some practical steps you can take to be more successful at this creation stuff. Because, of course, for you, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is all about you in 2017, in January of 2017, in the week after next, setting out to actually and actively and deliberately create more of what you want in your life. There is nothing, there can be nothing more important for you in the whole world than this. This is why you are here. So let's begin our journey. Let's dance together into peace and power and fun and freedom. If you commit to change, we will match your commitment. We're talking about you making a sacred promise to yourself to begin consciously, and by that we mean knowingly, and by that we mean taking credit for it, to create new things. The two essential components of change are: 1, understanding who you are, why you're here, and how the law of attraction works. And then 2, doing something about it. Actually committing to step away from that old version of you, committing to try new things and find out what works best for you, committing to develop new daily routines and to practice your new thinking patterns into subconscious habits. As to understanding, we have spent many hours and many words describing the fundamental and unchangeable truth about you, that at your essence, you're not a flesh and blood space-time human being. You're a timeless, spaceless consciousness, an extension of the collective consciousness of Source. And as you choose new beliefs and expectations, you step into new versions of you in new versions of your world. That's called the law of attraction. And it means that you are God. And just to briefly expand a little on just one part of that, it means that the world is not something external to you that you have to deal with. It's literally a moment-by-moment creation that mirrors your unique and personal expectations. If you're newly coming to these ideas, we encourage you to go back over our past material until you understand what we are describing as the essential truth about reality. As always, with us or with anybody else who might suggest new ideas about life, take what feels good and leave the rest. However, we want to encourage you by saying, these ideas may at first seem radical, but they are not complex. They are elegantly simple and logical, and understanding them is important, because choosing new thoughts and staying the course until those new occasional conscious thoughts become permanent subconscious habits takes commitment and focus. And it's simply easier to do that when you know who you are. For those of you who have come to know and accept who you are, let's get to the practical part, the doing part. And of course, we're not talking about taking action. You're a thought-created human in a thought-created world. And so, changing you and your world means changing your thoughts. The mechanism of change is the same whether you're aiming at a small change or a big change. The magnitude is up to you. Small world changes mean small thought changes. Big world changes mean profound thought changes. And profound thought changes are those that are automatic and ongoing and ever present. And there are those words again, ongoing and ever present. As we discussed last week, those words are heavy with meaning. And yet, as this one has been discovering, until you begin to experience what they are describing, they are effectively meaningless. But once you get it, once who you are is always running in the background, it's so much easier to pivot because you have a different perspective. You pivot easily from negativity to, that's interesting, now what do I want? It means you've installed observer mode into your mind, and it's actively running in your subconscious background. It also means that you've begun in earnest the journey into your new world. It means you're starting to create with confidence. So let's ask you, how's your creative confidence going? Let's come back to that point we made above. The world is not something external to you that you have to deal with. It's literally a moment-by-moment creation that mirrors your unique and personal expectations. Now, we know that this concept is radical. We know it's an idea that seems upside down from reality. And yet, if you persist in always thinking that way, what you're left with are some highly complex stories and explanations that really don't explain anything. And you're stuck with what we'll call the everybody myth. If creating miracles was possible, everybody would be doing it. Now let's ask you this. How much does your subconscious believe the everybody myth? How much do you find yourself accepting that what is all that can ever be? How much time do you spend each day, each hour, minute by minute by minute, seeing the world as real and unchangeable, and just simply dealing with it? Can you see that while you're doing that, you're practicing a lie? It's subtle and yet pernicious and persistent. And are you beginning to see that when you have trained truth to be ongoing and ever present, that being in the world no longer has to involve practicing that lie? You can be in the game and be the observer of the game at the same time. Can you allow yourself to see the meaning of these otherwise meaningless words? Because the world is not something external to you. It's not something you can examine to see what's possible and what's not, because it's been created from the decisions you've already made about all of those things. What's normal in the world is what you've declared to be normal. This business of creating more of what you want means you're going to be creating something abnormal. So we suggest in the nicest possible way that you get off it, get over it, get beyond it. It's up to you. It's all up to you. Think about that right now and acknowledge that to yourself. Then commit to thinking about that with enough focus and practice that it starts to be meaningful. It starts to be truly ongoing and ever present. In January, we will be heading into a 4-week Create More Money game. We're going to take 4 weeks to focus on creating abundance. We invite you to come along with us. And we want you once again to commit to making these calls your personal growth sessions. We want you to be greedy about this. We say, come to these calls with courage and honesty. Tell us what's working and what isn't. We want you to be miracle ready. So set your intention right now to have these calls be special. We invite you to engage with us, not just through your ears, but with your heart and soul. So let's take some time here and now to do a little practice on affirming who you are. As always, set yourself an intention to move beyond an intellectual understanding of this. Allow yourself to move to an internal recognition of truth. Allow your subconscious to move beyond the everybody myth and know that abnormal is and always was true normal for you. Get quiet, go within, get miracle ready. Here we go. This is who I am. And as I hear these words, I allow myself right now to know the truth of them. As I practice acknowledging who I am, I'm accepting it at all levels within me. I treat myself with enormous generosity of spirit. And even as my mind wanders through many different rooms, I return always to this core intention, to know myself as I truly am. Everything can change in an instant. And I know that my story changes as soon as I let go of all resistance. Resistance is a part of my old story. This is my new story. I'm a consciousness that is part of the collective consciousness of Source. Source is a river, and I'm a tributary that feeds into and flows from that river. I'm a part of the endless stream that is God. This is the ultimate truth of who I am. This is the only thing that's fundamentally true about me in all realms across a timeless universe. This is the only thing that I am and can ever be, and yet it is everything. With these words, I experience my connection and my oneness with infinity. I'm allowing myself right now to be aware of who I am. I exist as a thought. What I choose to think creates me and my worlds. Everything is as I choose it to be. My desires and intentions and my chosen beliefs and expectations shape the individuation that is me. And the context that surrounds me is a mirror of those beliefs and expectations. I exist as a thought, and everything that exists around me exists as a thought. It is my thoughts that create the physical me in this physical world, with all of its actions and sequences and beginnings and ends and time that marches on. And so even as I acknowledge that I'm an action-oriented being in an action-oriented world, I also acknowledge that what shapes my existence is simply my thoughts. I answer to no one. I am not here to serve or learn or to pass some test. I am Source, and I'm here to experience another aspect of myself in this leading edge environment. I'm here to experience the joy of creating new things in this focused space-time world, whatever those things might be. One thing today and perhaps another tomorrow. I follow my heart. I'm here for the fun of it. The choice is mine. Every time I choose a different thought, it makes a difference. Each small choice, each deliberately different thought creates movement in the fabric of my existence. And as I be here and now in this place of playing with new thoughts, I can feel within me that I am now different than I was just a moment ago. Each new thought makes a huge difference. This new thought right now has made a difference. I feel within me the power of that new thought. I see stretching before me a world that has shifted, and I can feel myself emerging into that new version of me and my world. As I practice here and now, this awareness of me and my power, I know that abnormal is my true normal. There is nothing I cannot be, do, or have. There is nothing I cannot change. This is my new story, my true story. It's my new true story. And I'm letting it sink in right to the very core of me. Good. So now let's move briefly to our longer discussion. And then we'll be eager to hear your thoughts on the everybody myth and the part it used to play in your daily thought practices. And of course, we'll answer any questions you may have about anything.
All right, this hangout on air was the summary of our theme for the week. As we said, we do 3 live calls a week with Q&A for our members on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. You can become a member by going to the loaclub.com/join. Part of what Tara brought through for us this morning will be put to music as a meditation, and we will let you know when that has become available. Our longer discussion continues now with Q&A on our member line. And actually, it's an open call line. And so we're going to go back over to Tara and Robin and Rachel and maybe even myself. So let's go, folks. Here we go, Tara.